How's everybody doing tonight? If you're watching this, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. As always, I appreciate you hanging out. We will kind of jump all over the place, talk all about this incoming snow thing. Snow or no, it depends on where you live. The day, I will tell you, this is just a Facebook update. We have the NFL is on WSFA right now, so we have no 5 p.m. news today. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a live stream instead. So I appreciate you tuning into that. If you could do me a favor, just share this report, and that way we can reach the maximum number of people so that more people have a good current forecast. Because I posted this several days ago. There's kind of a process to this whole thing, and one part of that process is quite simply, once you get inside 3 days, there are almost constant adjustments to the forecast. North, south, east, west, more snow, more ice, less ice, more rain, less rain. So today has been a day, quite frankly, if you're looking for snow in the central part of the states, the trend has not been very good today. This trend so far this afternoon and early evening has been more towards a farther south track with the surface low and a little less moisture. Now, we're still, right now it's Sunday, we're talking snow on Tuesday. That's 48 hours. That's a lot of time. This could always shift back in the other direction. So understand everything we're about to go through and talk about is still changeable. A weather forecast is not a finished product until the weather event begins, right? And then you're kind of just watching and seeing what happens. So there will be subsequent updates to this. It is imperative that you're working with the latest, greatest information. That's why I said this last night and again this morning. Anyone in any sort of decision-making capacity, I would wait as long as possible before you make any sorts of decisions about postponing, canceling, delaying anything, because this is all going to change. And a little bit of luck in that Monday is already a holiday. So for a lot of you, the first time you have any sort of opportunity for any sort of delay or cancellation is Tuesday. So that bought you a little extra time anyway. So, but again, those are not really my decisions or anything like that. Okay, so let me show you the latest data here. So we'll begin with what's happening in the broad scheme of this. The National Weather Service now has winter storm warnings. That's outlined in the pink color there, that run really from Gulfport all the way through New Orleans, Baton Rouge, all the way back over to Lake Charles and Houston, Texas, where we expect a massive accumulation of snow and ice, specifically snow. But as it moves east, the latest data suggests a little less moisture with this. I'll go through and just sort of run through the latest runs of each model here. This is the brand new North American mesoscale model. Now, understand this is an older model. The newer high-resolution data we don't have out yet, right? That won't come out for another hour or two, and I'll share that when we get it. But let's do this. Let's go. We need to do this instead right here. How about that? There we go. So this is the NAM. Monday's dry. We know that already. Tuesday, here it comes, but there it goes. Latest update from the NAM keeps a lot of that snow south of Montgomery. Right there at the very end, there's a little northward surge in the moisture field, and you get a little snow on the ground in places like Montgomery, Autauga, Elmore, Tallapoosa. But the big amounts with that track would be down to the south. See what I mean here? And you really see it when we go to the snowfall totals here. Again, these are all model derived, so grain of salt, but the idea of accumulating snow has shifted south here, right? This is showing you a little over a half an inch at Montgomery, not much more than that in most of the area. I'm not sure how much sense this makes, but it's out there. The raw data here is suggesting over 6 inches along the Florida border. So that tight north cutoff is what I want you to really pay attention to here. Don't necessarily get wound up about the precise numbers on this. I want you to pay attention to that sharp enough north cutoff. Notice here, southern Clark County, 3 inches of snow, northern Clark County, none at all. And when you look at this too, I don't want you to get necessarily wound up about exactly where that cutoff is. Just know that it is going to exist is the main thing. We don't know yet exactly where it's going to be. That's the difficult part of this forecast, as I've said all along. That's the bust potential in this, is the north side. South Alabama, I think pretty well locked in. Camden to Union Springs and Point South, this is going to be a pretty good snowstorm for you. But the north, how far north does it get is the million-dollar question. Okay, there are other pieces of data. This is the short-range ensemble forecast. This blends a lot of those together. So it is a little more encouraging for some of you in central Alabama, still up over an inch north of Montgomery. However, notice the amounts in South Alabama have trended a little down on this. So we'll go to the end of the run here, but it's not as heavy. We're talking 1 to 2 inches for South Alabama. Now, let me say right out of the gate here, I don't buy that. I think there's more snow than that in South Alabama, but that possibility is on the table. That the trend today has been towards a southerly movement of that cutoff, and then a little less moisture in the mix as well. So there you go. All right, here is the European ensemble. Let's check it out together. All right, so same kind of concept here. Heavier amounts south, lighter amounts to the north. But when you look at this, okay, Montgomery's at 1.6, Monroeville 2, Dothan 3, north of there, not much snow at all. This is the latest run of this. But let me go back in time. 2 runs ago, same model, 2 inches at Montgomery. 2 runs before that, the same model this time yesterday, 2.7. So you see the trend there is kind of down, right? So that's when you look at these models, you really look at the main idea that they're showing and the trend line. And the trend line here is towards a little less snow for the central sections of Alabama. Now, the news is not all bad. Let me show you this. This is the regional Canadian. Now, I think this is probably overdone, but it suggests almost 2 inches at Montgomery and then a widespread 3 to 6 inches over the southern third or so of the state, south of Montgomery. So that's that piece of data. That's the regional Canadian computer model. Again, I know all of this can be a little confusing, and we'll sort of make sense of this. And we'll get to a point where, by the way, we just have a forecast. That's coming later on in this, and we'll share that with you. But what I want to do on this Facebook and YouTube Live is give you a little bit of inside baseball on how we get there, right? Last thing I'll show you, this is the National Weather Service's blend of computer models. Same kind of thing, lighter amounts, right? This had been very aggressive, by the way. Check it out. So this is the current run. Let me take you back to this time yesterday. Look at that. Wow. Yesterday, this thing had 2 to 4 inches of snow for almost the entire state of Alabama. Now it has 1 to 3 in the southern half, southern third or so of Alabama. So bottom line here, the trend today has not been one that is phenomenal for snow fans. Now, understand, it is just that. This is just one trend. It can trend back in a different direction. It could keep trending south, and we will have to keep adjusting the forecast. When you get inside of 3 days on a snow forecast, there are near constant adjustments most times. Now, every now and then we get it right from 3 days in. The last one of these on January 10th, our forecast was from 3 days right until it happened was really, really good. Rain and sleet move in, not a big deal. We'll watch Chilton, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers. They'll have isolated problems early, then it all changes to rain. That was a near perfect forecast. This one's not going to be like that. This one, there's going to be a lot of changes as we get closer. And again, I would just urge anyone in any decision-making capacity to wait as long as possible before making any decisions, because this is probably all going to change. Okay, so what do we think's going to happen? That's what I want you to do. Let's zero in on that. So this is our latest, greatest, brandest, newest snow accumulation map. So what we've done here, the former area that was dusting to 2 inches, turns out very few people like the word dusting. It creates confusion, so we've changed that to 1 inch or less. Now, we originally had up to 2 inches in this area, just on the thought that this might shift north. It did not shift north, it shifted south. So we bumped that number down to 1 inch or less. Again, this could and probably will change again by the time we get to Tuesday. For South Alabama, we've kind of fine-tuned the number more than changed anything. We had 2 to 3 inches. We'll go 1 to 3 inches for most of South Alabama as an acknowledgement of the relatively drier computer model data that we've seen in spots with this. So that too is a trend that can change back. This whole thing has shifted and changed all along. It will probably keep doing that. And once the surface low actually forms tomorrow, we could see additional adjustments, right? Right now, the surface low hasn't really even formed yet. So there's still a lot of room for negotiation in this whole process. A lot of you are not map people. Let me show you. This is county by county what we expect to have happen. And again, it's not one size fits all. Find your county. We've listed most, if not all, of the counties we cover, and we've done it alphabetically. So that 1 inch or less zone, Autauga, Chambers, Chilton, Coosa, Dallas, Elmore, Lee, Marengo, Perry, Tallapoosa County, essentially everywhere north of Montgomery. That is still, I think, the lowest confidence part of this whole forecast is exactly how does that all fit together. There will be some places north of Montgomery. You know, if this thing keeps trending south, some of you may get no snow at all north of Montgomery. If this were to trend back north, you could still end up with a significant accumulation of snow and some big travel problems. We simply don't know yet, is the reality of this. So we will have to watch for any subsequent trends that develop to see what happens here, right? Then you get into South Alabama. Look, where I've put 2 to 3 inches. So that would be Covington, Crenshaw, Dale, Geneva, Henry, Houston, Monroe, Pike, probably Southern Wilcox too. That is a very high confidence forecast. That is the corridor with the greatest potential for snow accumulation in the state of Alabama is in South Alabama. This is a weird one, guys. This one's hard to believe, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and that's how this is. That's how this is trending. That the highest snow potential in this whole thing is probably going to end up in far South Alabama. And then on the northern edge of South Alabama, so that there's a couple of counties here, Lowndes, Macon, Montgomery, we've listed as 1 to 2 inches. Understand that forecast is right on a razor's edge right now. Any further southward shift, and we will see less snow than that in Macon and Montgomery and Lowndes counties specifically. So and even Dallas County could be in on that same kind of corridor in there. But certainly Lowndes, Montgomery, Macon, and Southern Lee in there too probably. Any more southward shift, and we're talking about potentially not much snow at all. If this were to come back north a little bit, we could still end up with snow. Now, another point that really needs to be driven home in this whole thing is this. Look, it is not going to take much snow given the very cold air to create travel problems. A half inch will do it. You get a half inch of snow, you're going to have iced over bridges, you're going to have icy roads. Travel is going to become really, really tough. So don't focus on, you see 1 inch or less and you start thinking, hey, this isn't a big deal. I promise you, if you get a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of snow with a temperature of 28 and very cold bridges and overpasses and road surfaces, everything's going to freeze up. So it is not going to take 2 or 3 or 4 inches of snow to create problems in this sort of setup. That is going to happen with a much smaller potential accumulation. So we'll go back to that, and I will jump over and start fielding some questions. Aren't those going to be fun? So, yeah, let's dive into some of these questions. I don't want it to snow, says Tabitha. All right, well, we'll see how it goes. Some dreams come true, kid. Josh, us Autauga people aren't liking you right now. I understand that. Kent asked, did the system go more southern? Yeah, it did a little. Not a ton, but it did trend southward 30 or 40 miles today. That's why we've adjusted the forecast. That is an adjustment, right? That means there can be other adjustments. There you go. So, see if we see. Curtis says, go Ravens. That is a poor take. I'm just kidding, Curtis. Hey, I like both teams. I like the Bills. I like the Ravens. I like them both. I will say this. Whoever wins this game, I'm definitely rooting for in the AFC Championship game. So now I can make all the Chiefs fans pretty mad. But hope it shifts north. Hey, me too. Look, I want it to shift north. I would love that. I promise you, no one wants snow more than I do. What about Conecuh, since it's in between Monroe and Covington? You're going to get a good snow out of this Conecuh County, is my opinion. I think Conecuh County looks pretty good. Even with the southward shift, you're way down in South Alabama. You have a little more margin for error there. So, I'm going to go play golf Tuesday and break out the orange golf balls. That would be a pretty good decision. That'd be pretty fun. What about travel on Wednesday? That'll depend on exactly how much snow we get. Do I think the HRRR will handle the precipitation field better? Yes, I do. And hey, let's talk about that. So the really high-resolution models that we love to use go out 48 hours. You will note it is Sunday at 5 p.m., but the last run we had was noon, by the way. So those high-resolution models, most of them, all of them, we only have data out through noon on Tuesday, which is before the snow begins in most places. As the latest guidance is also trended a little slower with this whole thing. So overnight tonight, starting with the 0Z, the 6 p.m. runs, and then the midnight runs, both of those are going to shed a lot of light on this. And then we'll get another one early tomorrow morning. So we're going to get a lot more and a lot better data in this whole mix as we go through the next 12 hours. Certainly by this time tomorrow, this will all come into even clearer focus. So, Aiden, excellent question. And that's why I don't want you to change any plans just yet, because this could still change. And several people kind of chiming in now asking timeline questions. The honest answer is we still don't really know. The latest data is slower. These tend to arrive faster than the models think. So as of right now, I would say the best snow chance is from Montgomery south Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening, but that is still subject to change. Could there be a more drastic change for more snow? Sure, this is not going to be a March 93, right? Like, just go ahead and understand that this will not be like that. How about dripping the faucets all day or just evenings? I would try to do them just in the evenings, the exception being on Tuesday when it is cloudy outside. I would drip all day Tuesday. I would only drip one, though, because what we don't want to have happen is you run down the water supply, especially in some of the smaller water systems. So you would want to drip one faucet, the one farthest away from where your water main enters your home, a slow, steady drip, roughly the diameter of the lead inside of a pencil. You do not need to run that thing wide open all night. Just a slow, steady stream the size of a pencil is what most people say. I've heard some people say you don't even need a full stream. You can just do a little drip, 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 drip. The other thing I would advise you to do, stick a pitcher in there and save that water, right? You can drink it, you can water indoor flowers with it, you can do anything you want to do, but I don't know about you, but I am frugal. My wife calls me a depression baby. How about that? So I am frugal, and I wouldn't want to waste that much water. So I'm going to drip mine tonight, but when I do, I'm going to certainly put something in there where I can catch a little bit of that water and figure out something for it. Is it possible that Greenville will not get any snow, says Casey? It will. It is possible. I don't think it's likely. Greenville, I think you're in pretty good shape to see some snow. I don't think it's a total slam dunk, but I do think you're in pretty good shape. We'll keep evaluating that, right? Could that change? Sure, it could change. But as we see it right now, I think you're in pretty good shape. My fellow Josh Johnson, it's good to see you in the house. When will winter storm warnings be issued? That'll happen sometime tomorrow, is my suspicion. And my suspicion is it will mainly be south of a line from about Demopolis to Montgomery to Auburn. So mainly South Alabama, I think, is a lock to end up in a winter storm warning. Most of, if not all of South Alabama, south of Montgomery County, is a lock. The question will be what happens with that row of counties from Marengo, Dallas, Lowndes, Montgomery, Macon, Lee, and north. What happens there? That's really, quite frankly, that's the only real hard part of this forecast. The rest of this is 1 to 3 inches. South Alabama, isolated spots will go higher than that. That part of it is extremely high confidence. The hard part of this forecast is figuring out what the heck happens with that row of counties right through the middle of the core of our area, and say one road north of there. So I'm talking Marengo, Dallas, Lowndes, Watauga, Montgomery, Elmore, Southern Tallapoosa, Macon, Lee. Those. Does it snow there or not? If it does snow there, how much? Those are all questions that are really, really hard to answer right now. So, Wells asking, could Montgomery not get any snow? Yeah, that's it. That's on the realm of possibility. That's in the realm of possibilities. It is possible that Montgomery doesn't get a single flake. I don't think that's terribly likely. And again, I've said this, and today has burnt me to a crisp on this idea, but most of these tend to trend north as you get closer to them. Today it's gone the other direction. I still think there is room for this to trend back north. So I would anticipate additional changes to this whole thing. My man, Matt Copeland in the house. What's the Bonnie Brook community to look for? Any concerns here in Miami, Florida? Matt Copeland is a long time friend of mine. Student class president at Jacksonville High School, if I remember correctly, which based on my hairline, I might not. But Matt and I went to church together as children, grew up in the same community, Bonnie Brook. Bonnie Brook not going to get much on this one. This will be it will be miserably cold there. So make sure everybody that you know that lives up there is dripping a faucet tonight, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. Next 4 nights, it is going to be brutally cold. But the moisture stays south of there. They could see a flake, a few snow flurries, snow showers, but as we see it right now, no issues. And Miami, Florida, obviously, no issues. But I will say this, there will be accumulating snow in parts of Florida from this storm. The Florida Panhandle, but still, you see that about once every 10 to 20 years. So there you go. Everyone asking how much snow should we expect to see? There you go. There's a county-by-county rundown of this. Please understand this is going to change. If you do not get as much snow as is listed on this graphic, do not yell at me, call me names, tell me you hate me, or wish out loud that I was dead. Just understand it's going to change right up until it starts snowing or not snowing on Tuesday. That's the nature of any forecast, but most certainly the nature of a snow forecast. Will Pensacola get snow? My son is on the Navy base there. First off, Jessica, thank your son for his service. Secondly, yes, I actually think they will. I think Pensacola has a really good chance of seeing some snow and some sleet in this whole thing. So, crazy as it sounds, there you go. All right, so what's sadder? The TikTok ban or the lower snow chance? You tell me. Now, I will tell you, my view on social media is probably different than most people's because I deal with it every day. There are things about social media that I love, and there are some things about social media that are lousy. And I'm not on TikTok. I will not be on TikTok, so the ban didn't really affect me. I understand some of you love TikTok. It is not my jam, so I'm good on that front. Josh, they still going to yell at you, bud. I agree, Yolanda. They definitely are. That is the most confident part of this whole forecast is I will end up being called names no matter what happens. So there you go. Yeah, I know TikTok is back. I read all that today. I get it. But there was a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth about that. Natalie asked a really great question. What makes a storm trend north or south? Exactly where the surface low forms and the exact steering currents in the atmosphere at that exact location. Now, the issue is it's forming in the Gulf of Mexico. What do we know about the Gulf of Mexico? Not a lot of weather data over the Gulf of Mexico. We do not have a ton of reporting stations giving us data like we do over land, right? Over land, we have all kinds of weather radars, and we launch weather balloons, and we get all sorts of data. Storm system over the Gulf of Mexico, we don't. Now, hurricanes are different because hurricane hunters fly in and get us all that data. Winter storms, they typically do not. So that makes this really difficult for our computer models because a model is only as good as the data you put in it. And for a system forming in the Gulf of Mexico, there is a reduction in the data. Now, look, we get upper air data from stations near where this is going to form. That helps. But yeah, so that's part of the reason that you end up seeing a bumpy ride with these Gulf low scenarios. So there you go. All right. Hey, everyone, I appreciate you for hanging out with me on this 30-minute special Facebook, YouTube live stream in lieu of WSFA 12 News at 5. I'll be in the studio tonight at 9 and 10 with additional updates on this whole scenario. Meteorologist Nick Gunner will be along tomorrow morning on Today in Alabama with updates. We'll update the First Alert Weather app. We'll update WSFA.com. We'll update social media. We'll update you in our newscast as well. We'll do a special live stream on the First Alert Weather app tonight at 9:30. So if you don't have the app, get it now, and you'll be able to watch via the First Alert Weather app. And that'll kind of keep you up to date on that. So Jennifer asking the question that's been on my heartbroken mind all day today. How is it that I live both too far south and too far north to get snow? Yeah, right. I'm with you. I am personally hopeful it trends back north. I am professionally hopeful that whatever it does, the computers come into good agreement so I can give you the best possible forecast. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for your time, effort, and energy. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday evening. And for those with tomorrow off, I hope you are able to spend it in a meaningful way, hopefully with your friends and family. And enjoy your time with each other. So thanks so much. Take care. And I will see you tonight at 9 o'clock on WSFA 12.2 Bounce TV, an additional live stream at 9:30, and then on